Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to Emsley Lodge for another week. Cannot buy a winner at the moment, just horses are running great, just can't put a head in front. A couple of horses went really good. Minyinga was very brave at Sandown on Wednesday. She just got held up the straight and sort of only seen daylight late and sort of ran into third, and she Craig Williams rode her and come back and gave a million excuses, but at the end of the day she sort of didn't have any luck, and very hard to sort of win those sort of midweek city races, but she's going really well, holding her form. She's going to win one. She just hasn't won a race for a year or so, and she's sort of had multiple metropolitan placings, but just can't quite put her head in front. It's probably not going to get much easier going into the spring either. So anyway, she's going well. What else we have? Toffee Nuts. He was 100 to 1 and ran a really gallant third. He ran into a really nice horse of McAvoy's. Interesting, the thing of McAvoy's won and won easy, and afterwards they're talking about going to the Coolmore or something like that. So, Ballarat on a Tuesday synthetic is that's what you're sort of running into here in Victoria as far as this coming into the spring. Probably a really good thing beaten through the week was a mare called Grandma Gail. She sort of jumped out of the gates and got flattened out of the gates, was a couple of lengths beyond the second last horse, and then went 15 deep on the corner and probably got beaten about a length and a half. So she was probably a really good thing beaten. So if you see her back in that sort of grade, she's probably going to be a good bet. But horses racing really well, just can't put her head in front. Okay, runners, this week on Saturday, Prince Ziggy goes to Moonee Valley. Now, this race is nearly the identical race to what he ran in the other day. The field's very, very similar. The winner and the second horse are in the race. There's not much difference to this at all. Ziggy was coming off a very short backup, where he's had a couple of weeks between runs now, and I think it's definitely going to improve him. He got very well ridden the other day by Yendall, so hopefully he's drawn a nice gate again, so hopefully he gets a similar run. Only has to improve a couple of lengths, and if he does, he's going to be right in the finish. So 2,500 metres around the valley, he'll go well. I'm not sure what the track's going to be like. It's a nice sort of sunny day today, as you can probably see, so I imagine the track's going to dry out by the weekend, so might get a little bit more on top of the ground, I'm not sure, but anyway, Ziggy seems to be going okay. James and probably Darbs will go there, and I'll head up to Wangaratta with a couple of runners. Horse called Young Harry Cool. He was really good his first start in the race for us up at Warwick-Nabil, was narrowly beaten. Second up, hopefully can improve a little bit, and he's going to be around about the mark. I think he's a lot better than this grade, but his form was pretty poor, and hence the owners decided to give us a bit of a crack with him, and hopefully training him out of a paddock sort of turned him around. Always like to see horses put two runs together, so keen to sort of see how he goes. Also take a little filly up there called Halo Bell first up. Showed us a little bit of ability last time in, was just doing a lot wrong at the races. She's had a good long spell, come back in. I gave her a trial the other day. She trialled up okay, and now she's ready to go to the races. So just been a filly that's been over racing bad. So hopefully they run along at a good tempo and she can sort of land third or fourth and get a nice drop on the leaders and then sort of hit the line nice and hard. But both Halo Bell and Young Harry Cool will go to Wangaratta on Saturday. Okay, Monday Pakenham on the synthetic. I might have two, possibly three runners. Little horse called Eye Strike. He went okay first up at Geelong, and then I ran him on a couple of wet tracks, and he just sort of pretty disappointing. So I'm going to try and get him back up on top of the ground again and see how he goes. So he'll either go to Pakenham Monday or Ballarat Tuesday. Got him in a couple of races there. A horse called Beluga. He's been around for a while, Beluga, and he's just had this horrific foot. And this is easily the best we've ever had him. So we're going to get him to the races. We trialled him the other day on a wet track and he pulled the shoe off. So we're going to try and see how we go on a synthetic, and just hopefully he steps out of the barriers and goes a bit better. He's jumping out of the barriers, and his first stride, when his front feet land, his back feet are coming through and just landing on his front feet, and he's pulling this. We've got a special bar shoe on him, and it's just pulling the shoe off. So I'm just going to try that with him. So both Eye Strike and Beluga are in 1,400 metre maidens. We'll hopefully run one there. Little filly called Solar Flash, took her up to Wodonga the other day, and I was pretty keen on her. I thought she'd be really hard to beat, and just got on a heavy track and didn't go a yard. So she's again going to have to probably try and get on top of the ground. So I'll just try and find a solid track for her. If I can't find a grass track where the track's going to be reasonable, I'll probably be forced to take her to the synthetic as well. So she might also go round at Pakenham on Monday. Tuesday, Ballarat. I got a couple of horses. Toffee Nuts raced the other day and was pretty good. I don't know if I'll just wait another week for him and give him a couple of weeks between runs. So I've got either Toffee Nuts or Come Along Jeffrey in the 1,000-metre maiden there. Jeffrey's a new horse to the stable. He's trialled up pretty good. He seems pretty fast. And I'll give him a gallop on Saturday morning and make a decision where we run him this week or whether he needs one more week. He's one of those really clean-winded horses, but he just looks fat. So whether he's just going to tighten up after a couple of runs, I don't know. But he's just got that always looks soft. He doesn't look like a real hard fit horse. So I don't want to. He's one of those horses who's going to jump out and go pretty hard. So I need to have him really fit. Pulls up from his gallops really clean in the wind. So he just might be that horse that sort of carries that little bit of extra weight.
G'day guys, welcome to Around the Stables. This week's horse is a lovely 3-year-old filly called Miranda Dawn. She's by Dawn Approach, so he was a really successful horse on the racetrack. He won his first 7 races and yeah, seems to be doing a pretty good job as a stallion. She's out of Miranda Lass, so she's already thrown really successful horses for the stable, the first being Macrobius, who won countless races, and he won one in town and earned over $200,000 in prize money. So he was a really good old timer for the stable, and as well as the new kid on the block, Miletus. So yeah, she's obviously got big shoes to fill, but yeah, I really like the way she goes about her ways. She's probably a bit different to the other fillies that we've had out of that mare. A lot of the other ones have been sort of smaller, weaker types, where she's a really nice scopy filly. So yeah, really credit to Mike Palmer there that yeah, he went to a stallion with a bit more scope, and yeah, he's certainly got a nice filly on his hands. So she's all well educated. She's broken in. She's jumped out of the gates, she's treadmilled, she's water walked, so she's all ready to go. She's been in work here about 4 weeks, and we'll sort of step up her work over the next few weeks, and hopefully we can get her to a trial this time in and see what she can do. But yeah, she's obviously got big shoes to fill with her brothers being really successful horses for the stable, and but yeah, from what I can gather early on, I think she'll make it, and yeah, so watch out for her in the coming months.
That's it for another week at Emsley Lodge. Thanks for watching. A couple of really interesting scenarios coming into the spring, isn't there? Interesting, a lot of the jockeys from Sydney might not be here. J Mac and Huey Bowman and those blokes look like they're not coming. Bossy's trying desperately to get down here, but a couple of really good opportunities for maybe I won't say the second tier jockeys, but the jockeys who probably struggle to get on a good chance in those big races, probably get their chance this year in the spring, because a couple of real top riders aren't going to be here. A really interesting scenario was Moonee Valley Cup is now a $1 million race. Now, it used to be very similar prize money to the Geelong Cup, and it's 3 days after Geelong. So what the scenario used to happen was normally the 3 or 4 emergencies out of the Caulfield Cup, if they didn't get a run at Caulfield, they would go to Geelong, and they were sort of more or less the favourites and right in the betting for the Geelong Cup. Be interesting to see now, you know, Geelong's only staying at the 400,000 when Moonee Valley's gone to $1 million. So do they have a roll of the dice to get into Moonee Valley and miss Geelong? And will that weaken Geelong? Really don't know, because it's a big punt. You sort of don't go around to Geelong and then you don't get a run at Moonee Valley. It's really trick. So, but it's definitely going to change the dynamics of things. It could really knock the Geelong Cup around if people are opting to go to Moonee Valley rather than Geelong. They can only run. I think they can only run 12, maybe 14 at Moonee Valley. So, you know, it's a big option to do it. But yeah, they certainly. The powers that be have sort of left the country cups out of it a fair bit, haven't they? They, you know, both Geelong and Bendigo are probably the 2 really good provincial races cup before the spring, and both of them now are sort of staying there, and Moonee Valley's gone to $1 million. So interesting, but I'm sure it'll work itself out. But something to certainly keep an eye on. Till next week, see you later.
So lovely filly. 3-year-old filly, but start again. This week's filly is a lovely 3-year-old filly. This week's horse is a lovely 3-year-old filly called Miranda Dawn. She's by Miranda. Making a good run today, aren't we? I reckon we should be able to get her to the trials this time in. She's ready to go. So Okay. So we've had really successful horses for the stable out of her, including Macrobius, the first one. He was